guys, Kilala here. I thought I would make this video in case any of you are interested in making lyric videos and don't know how. So I thought I would make this video so you can learn how. It's actually very simple. I use three programs. So I use PowerPoint and HitFilm. I'll talk about them when I go through the process. You might be saying, hey, aren't lyric videos actually really easy to make? Technically, yes. Technically, they are very easy. However, there are cases where it's not. I've seen lyric videos out there and there's some that make me a little mad, honestly, because they're not designed well. A lot of things that come into making lyric videos that I don't think anyone thinks about. Here we go, let's go. So first things first, you need the lyrics. So what I like to do is I make a Google Doc of all my lyrics. And the reason why I have Google Docs in case I work remotely, I'm going to be doing this for Dreaming Parade, which is the song request. I am working through them. It's taking me a while because I want to do all of them. This one's going to take a little bit because I have to manually translate it myself, which is kind of hard. So I found the lyrics online at this site right here. When I make lyric videos, I usually have the kanji, romanji, and English. Now the kanji is very important because translating the songs, it makes it 10 times more easier than if I just had the romanji. In Japanese, sometimes the word can mean multiple things, so the kanji helps kind of narrow down what the meaning is. I grabbed the kanji. For this case, this site does not let you copy and paste it, which is the most annoying thing ever. I hate sites that do that. But I found a way around, easier with your phone. So you take a picture of the lyrics through Google Translate, and then you translate that line. Unfortunately, it does take a bit longer because you have to do it line by line. Otherwise, Google Translate will combine words and just make it your life harder. So once I get all the kanji down, I put it on a Google Doc. For the romanji, in this case, I think I put it through Google Translate because it's just faster. That isn't 100% accurate. I'll warn you if you're not familiar with the language or anything like that. I have been listening to Japanese music since I was 10, 12, or actively listening to it since I was 12. I also watch anime and have become familiar with the language over the years, which I haven't realized until recently, that I was oh wait, I actually know more of this language than I thought. I don't really know Japanese per se. I've been wanting to learn it my whole life, but I just never had the chance to. I have actually started learning some of the hiragana and whatnot, but it's a lot and I don't have the time to sit there and learn it. When you translate songs, put it through Google Translate, sometimes it'll give you the romanji, but sometimes say sekai would be something completely different. It will say something else, and then when you listen to it, it says something completely different. You gotta listen to the song in order to make sure that's accurate. The kanji should be accurate. It's usually just the romanji that could be inaccurate. And there's some cases where I know people say Google Translate is not 100% accurate. It's not. It's just a good tool to use. It kind of gives you an overall meaning of the sentence, so it makes it easier to translate. I'm not saying it's the best way to translate, but it is a way to translate. So sometimes in this case, when I Google Translate it and maybe the word doesn't really match up with what I know, maho means magic. So magical, does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Sometimes that's how, obviously it's the worst example to use because I already know what this means. Still, there's some words that don't necessarily translate well. So in case that happens where it translates funny, it reads funny, it doesn't make sense to me, I go to this site right here called Jisho, and it's an online dictionary. So you just put in the whole sentence. I usually put the whole line. I guess highlight the individual characters. So in this case, maho, and it will give you the translation, so it means magic. I use those two methods to translate the song. Sure, you get the lyrics. In this case, I had to color code it. I'm grateful that there was a music video. The lyrics on that video were actually color coded, so it made it 10 times more easier. Because otherwise, I would have had to sit there and listen to the song for hours. I don't know the artist well enough to differentiate them. That's why usually I skip those, because it's kind of hard to tell who's who if you don't know who's who. And I usually don't separate them, but in this case where there's in between singing, they sing in between different lines, it's just easier to separate them. All right, now that we have the lyrics, it is time to open up Notepad. So we have Notepad. I usually have 3 tabs. Ignore these 2 tabs, they're for other things. So we have kanji, romanji, and English. And you can label the top like that, know which is which, but I have muscle memory and I usually have in the same order, so I don't have to think too much. Copy them all into Notepad. We have the kanji, romaji, and English lyrics. Now it's time for the fun part. I usually make my lyric videos in PowerPoint. Now this is the fun part of designing it because you could do whatever you want. I like to do it with keeping in theme of the song. So Dreaming Parade, I feel like, is a very whimsical fantasy-like song kind of thing, you know? So I'm thinking maybe purples, maybe blue. I kind of want it to be gradient. So this is just the background. I like that color. Ooh, that kind of gives a whimsical feeling, right? No? I don't know. Ooh, that does. Ooh, I like that. Wait. I actually like that one. So now, because it's a color-coded, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's 6. I like to start off with boxes. I usually just shrink it until it fits, so. Is it usually this hard? No, usually not, because I think I only ever do like 5 idols max, I don't know. So then, I usually take this and then group it, so then there's no way I'm gonna be able to space them out. And I center it. Alright, I centered it off. I have the boxes. I think I usually try to keep it like midway and not like taking over too much of the space because you don't want that. The lyrics are the most important. Alright, let me gather the pictures and I'll be right back. I found some pictures online. It took a while because they don't really have pictures. Well, they do have on their website or wiki. I would have loved to use these, honestly, because I think they would fit the theme or mood. They're clear, so these would work better for the other style I usually like to do, which is I would have, you know, the characters on this side, like the one image on this side and the lyrics on this side. But for this case, I want to do this. So I have them all here. So you do notice that they're squares and not rectangles, so we're gonna have to make that work. Just put them wherever you want. I mean, you could tell it's them, right? That's all that matters. Maybe I should have put these guys on the older guys on the side because they sing together, but now let me do that. Move them over. I'd like to try to connect them as best as possible. So then, this is overlapping with this one. Oh my goodness. Overlapping, but that's okay. I'm gonna pretend I didn't see it. It's gonna bother me, but it's okay. It's fine. Okay. Alright, we're good. Okay. Alright, now we can group them. So then you can center it. And now they're centered. Let me move this down a little bit. Put a frame around them or something around them because it makes it look cleaner. Okay. What color? I like that. That looks good. So it's white, and I like to bevel it or add a little pizzazz, if you will. Sometimes I like to put a thing here. I kind of stopped doing this, to be honest, where I would put some words here. I don't know. I feel like it just kind of doesn't really have a purpose to be there, honestly. I know a lot of other people that make lyrics videos like to put their name on here. I have my logo, so I don't really do that. Dreaming Parade, that black for now. Because I really don't like when having anything there. I don't know why. I just don't like it. Maybe because like when I start adding their names, it's gonna start conflicting with it. So it might be why. I'm not sure. There is a feature where you can make it spread out, like the words of the letters of the words are split. But I don't know if it's my version or if it's just like that. It doesn't like to work. Then if I were to make another tab, it will change how it looks. It's usually very subtle, but it's very noticeable, and I notice it in the videos, so I stopped doing that. All right, let's start with putting their names together. So I usually just put, it depends how I feel, because sometimes I'll put the box and then their name. In this case, I'll just put their name. I don't know what your name is. I know it starts with an R. Renew. Okay. And then I like to stay within their colors, so red, and then have an outline. I usually put one person's name first, and then I start editing it to how I want it to be. So it is still blending in with the background. So I usually like to make either put a shadow, that doesn't work in this case, or some glowing features. Now, in some cases where it doesn't work out, I end up putting a box around in the back. But I don't want to, because it's going to start, especially with him, it's going to start blocking their face. It's gradient. My face cam was blocking this section. I noticed it after, I'm sorry. Well, it's gradient fill, and then I put 3 different stops. I usually don't put these at the end because I find it better to stop it earlier. This one is at 100% transparency, and this one's also at 100% transparency, and then this one's at 30 since I didn't want it completely solid colors. I think there's a specific color associated with these characters, so because I know with Idolmaster there's certain shades, so I want to kind of, yeah, see, this one has a print scan it. I'm gonna print scan it. Okay. And then copy this into here, and then you take it and then you just eyedrop it. Yeah. That is a little too light of a color, to be honest. So I am gonna actually darken it a little bit. Just a little bit. Just so you can see it better. Alright, so then we do it for the same for all of them. Except because I made one already, I can just edit the color and the name. I probably shouldn't have saw this before, huh? Move my camera. My bad. Okay. Alright, everyone's name is done. It actually looks kind of nice now looking at it afar. It looks kind of cute. Alright, so now for the fun part. When making lyric videos, it is very important that you don't put more than a lot of words on one screen. I've been seeing some lyric videos where they would put multiple lines in one slide, and it just... There's a general rule. When it comes to PowerPoints, you want to put 6 words in total. So 6 individual words on one screen. There are some cases when that doesn't work out, but in most cases, do not put more than 2 lines on a single slide. It makes no sense. It's also hard to read it. I don't know why people do that. I know it's because it's laziness, because I've been there. I prioritize legibility over... I do sometimes make it fancy, but that's because I just want to. So first off, I start with the lyrics. So I put lyrics, and then I center it, and I make sure I put it, you know, on both sides. I line it to both, and then I take this and put it towards the center. Now, if I'm lucky, we'll snap it. If I'm not, it won't, but it's fine if it doesn't. So I usually make it within 28, I think 24 to 28. I don't go any higher than that. I think it just depends on which font I use. Then I make it bold, and then I copy and paste it, and then I put the other one here, and then it should align with the top of it. I do sometimes put a bar in the bottom also, but I stopped doing that, so it just looks cleaner when there's none. Another thing, because it's a gradient background, I like to put a white, somewhat transparent background behind the lyrics, and I put a soft edge on it, so then it kind of now this is because when you put lyrics, sometimes, especially with colors, it blends in with the background, and you don't want that because it'll be hard to read. As I said, legibility is very important because that's the point of a lyric video. So we have it set up. I'm really bad at making title cards, so I usually do that at the last. We have the lyrics here, all of them singing. So usually how I do it is I usually keep it like that. Oh wait, I didn't change the lyrics. Usually I like to do this after I have the lyrics all out, but because it's in English right now, it's not gonna be doing that, so I'm just gonna do it now. Alright, for font, what do I want? Obviously stay away from cursive ones because they're hard to read. Well, I can read them, but not everyone can read them. The point is legibility, so... depending on the color, I don't really know if I want to use a color for this instance. For all of them singing. I might make it gradient. I'm not so sure about it though, not that. We're gonna find out. See what it looks like. I can't put all their colors, unfortunately. If you can't tell, the max you can put is 5, so yeah, I don't really like that. I'm gonna not. Alright. And then once I usually duplicate it, so then I can just do that. Sometimes what I usually do is make this grayed out already, so then I could just focus on highlighting or making sure the characters that need to be... Where's the thing? Anyways, when you click on the group, you can go to the picture format, and then you could change the color. And then I usually put a grayscale, but I'm noticing that when I put a grayscale, I feel like it's never dark enough, so then it just looks like they're highlighted even though they're not highlighted. So now they're grayed out. Usually I can just copy or, you know, highlight the one I need, but apparently the frame makes it difficult. You go into Arrange, Selection Pane, and then you go into Group, and then you just find the ones you need. So I think it's just these 3 right here. So just picture. Cool. Alright, cool. Yeah, so that's how I usually do that portion. For the title screen, first it's called Dreaming Parade. We're gonna make it big. I am not the greatest when it comes to making the title screens. I've been trying to improve. It is a work in progress. I usually like to pick a different font from what I use in the video itself. In this case, I can actually use a curly font if I wanted to. So this I would use. This I could use here because I kind of like it. I'm not entirely sure what to do when it comes to color. I think I should use. I think I should actually use gradient for this because it is the title. Root, I'm not forgetting you. I just don't have space for another color. I make this lighter so then kind of mixes both, I guess, in a way. And really, I just play around with the settings just to figure out which one I like the best. So you don't know until you look at it. Well, that's how I am. Again, from the future, I realized I never finished making the title card. So usually what I do for the title card, I would put, you know, the big letters for the name, like the title of the song, and then I'll put either a bar or some sort of like little thing under here. Sometimes I'll like to put, I haven't done this recently, where I would use emojis. Like I would just, I don't have an emoji loaded, but like say like this, right? And then I'll just center that and then use that as like a line instead. I usually do it like, well, I started doing it this way. I used to make these different sizes because this sees better. So I make the title card and then I put the artist and then, you know, what is included. I'm not done with this. I think I'm gonna edit it or change it when I start working on this more. But yeah, that's kind of the process of making the title card. That's basically the whole process of the PowerPoint. Just main points, obviously, make sure it's one line. If there's cases where it's in this, like right here, where it's a whole line, I usually break it up. I'm gonna show you. Like, that's what you don't want. Like, you don't want this. It looks like a lot. Like, looking at that, it's just, that's a lot. I don't want to read that. You probably don't want to read that. It's hard to read the lyrics if you're, you know, trying to sing along. So I'm not going to be able to finish this all today. So I'm not going to be able to show you the next few steps with this, but I'll show you, I'll give you a rundown. I go into presentation mode and I print screen every single slide. It's a process. There is another way to do it where I think if you go to File and Export, it'll individually export all the slides. However, I found that it does not export it to the size that my laptop is. So it actually ends up exporting something smaller and the quality is actually relatively lower. A tedious process and it does take longer, but the results are better. You know, all the screenshots go into a screenshot folder and then I take the screenshots. So I'll take like these 3 and then I have a separate folder just for all the projects. And then I just go to Dreaming Parade and then I'll put them all in here. And then to an editing software, I use HitFilm Express. It's actually a free program. You do need to sign up for it, but it's a free program. So this is HitFilm. It's like any video editing software. It's very simple. Well, I find it simple. I don't know if anyone else would, but I was currently working on one, so I guess I can show you this one. Import them. So I take the title screen and then I import them all into there, putting them onto the timeline. I also have my logo preloaded. I also put little transitions if I want to, if I feel like it. I put effects because I mean, it's a lyric video, and obviously the main priority is to make sure the lyrics are legible. I know I used to make them very fancy and used to do all these fun little things with my lyric videos, but I'm trying to limit doing that. I want it to be entertaining as well, and not just, you know, you're looking at lyrics and some entertainment, you know. In this case where there's a music break, I would put like little effects. I have a folder of effects I find online. I put whatever I feel works the best for it. I also do sometimes put the effects over the songs. I only do that. I found a way to do it so it's not too distracting, because I know like you're there for the lyrics and not for the fancy effects I put. In this case where, you know, the lyrics are down here and you have the screen here, I try to put the effects on the artist themselves, not the lyrics, so it won't affect it. That's done by masking, and then I export them. I don't really have a fancy like setting or anything. It's just the default YouTube setting. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if this helped you. If you want any other tips, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. It is very tedious work, but I enjoy doing it, so thank you. Bye.